And bang! Quality over quantity. LeBron has beaten some of the best competition in NBA history. He's the GOAT emoji. I will not cuss. I will not cuss. I will not swear. I will not swear.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
You know, a beautiful wife often asks me, how do you keep putting shows together even on days when you're off? And this special Saturday edition of the Brian Snow Show should explain everything, given the wonderful guests that I have in store for you. Good afternoon, everyone. As I said, welcome to a special Saturday edition of the Brian Snow Show. You can find us on YouTube using youtube.com/@Snowman Multimedia. That's where you find all of our programming. And I'm just going to dive right in and get to the special guest that I have for you this afternoon. She is in California. She's a health and wellness coach. And if you're lacking confidence and self-esteem, or you need some goal setting and some motivation, thinking of mindfulness, time management, which has been a horrible thing of mine until lately, this young lady can help you with all of that and then some. I welcome Annie Delre, and she's with me right now. How are you, Annie? Good to have you.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great to have you. Let's just dive right in. One of the things that I struggled with until lately, and I say lately, like within the past month, has been time management. Because when you're an entrepreneur, there are so many duties that you take on, especially if you're a one-man gang like I have been for many, many years. How do you tackle time management?
Woo! Time management. Yeah, that is. I hope it looks like I'm looking at you.
You're good.
Okay, cool.
You're good.
That's a huge one. Time management is a game changer. And I've coached people in their teens up to 84 years old, and I would say over 80% of them struggle with it.
Yeah.
So, especially ADHD clients, that's like pretty much the first thing we work on together. And the first exercise I have them do is plan their time. Plan. It doesn't even matter if they don't follow the plan at first. The point is to think ahead. But I will say, again, especially my clients with ADHD really, really struggle with that and are resistant, or they'll say, I've tried it, Annie. I can't, Annie, I can't. So if that's the case, I have them backtrack their time. So what are you doing during your day? Because somewhat like a food journal, you need to build that mindfulness to even make a behavior change. So, oh, you watched 4 hours of Netflix, but you told me you don't have time to write your book? But you had 4 hours, and
Yep.
and not in a judgmental way, more of like, I'm gently gonna call you out because what you're telling me is BS.
What do you find is the biggest wellness challenge, and how do you overcome it, and how do you help your clients overcome it?
Honestly, it's asking for help. It's just acknowledging, like, I can't do this alone, or even something such as like, I'm overwhelmed and I'm overwhelmed with being overwhelmed. Like, I don't even know where to start. So it's asking for help and then gaining clarity of what exactly are you looking for.
The one person that has helped me with all of that since I met her has been my wife, Jody. And something you mentioned with like planning your day, something that she's coached me to do is to write it down in time blocks. Now, I will say lately I haven't, because after my cancer surgery, my sleep has been god awful, and I'm being nice with that term.
Ooh, okay.
Because when you spend the better part of 3 months in a hospital, and you're woken up at god awful times of the night to be poked and prodded, and it's like, where do I sleep? When do I sleep? It's like I listen to my body more than I listen to my plan for the day, and I'm trying to change that
Right.
because if I'm here in my office and I'm rolling right along, getting everything done on my to-do list, and I have two notebooks here on my right to make sure I keep up with everything.
Nice.
And sometimes my body just quits. My body just said, "We need sleep, and we're going to sleep right now." And if I lean back in this chair, I'm a goner.
Oh.
Done. Done. If I lean, and my wife warned me, of this. You get so comfortable in that chair and you're rolling right along. If you lean back at any time, you're a dead duck. And I've
Love
tried
this
to adjust.
woman.
Yeah, I love her so much, and
How can you not? Look at
she's
her.
she's just like nothing but not. She's been nothing but loving and knowledgeable to me, and she's called me out too on things that I should do but don't do. She's straight up called me out, and I don't blame her for that. I don't blame her for that. Here's my next question to you. When you
Mhm.
call out your clients, what is the typical response?
Hmm. Well, you know what? I will say, I when I first meet them, I give them a heads up. So
Hmm.
what I'll say to them is, in coaching, we're only talking
Yeah.
about future focused. We will talk
Hmm.
about the present. If you end up telling me a story that's 2 to 3 minutes about the
Yeah.
past, I will gently stop you and say, "Okay, what did you learn from this?" So
Right.
them going in with me, they get that heads up of, we're solution focused and forward moving. So,
Hmm.
I appreciate some background, but
Yeah.
I don't even wanna hear that. Like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What are you doing about it now, and what are
Hmm.
you doing later on to
Right.
either prevent it or get better or, um and I'm originally from Jersey, so having that direct communication isn't, like, too
I
hard.
love it. I love it. I'm originally from Chicago, so I get it.
You get it.
I'm from the third largest city in the country. I get it. Being from Chicago, you and I are right here. We're direct.
Yes.
If there's a question, we come right out and ask it and have no qualms about it.
Mhm.
That's the biggest thing, and that's been the biggest thing. Like I said with Jody, for me, she'll just come right out and ask me, what are you doing about this? And it's caused me in a positive way to change my thinking and
Mm.
not think of the past and just go forward. A friend of mine once upon a time said, "Fast forward and no looking back." That's the attitude that's the attitude I've carried with me. How do you get your clients to go toward that point where they are going forward and not backwards?
Getting them out of their comfort zone. That's a big one, like, making them
Bang,
uncomfortable.
bang. That's man, I've been out of my comfort zone for so long, especially lately. It's crazy. Andy Delre joining me here on the Brian Snow Show, special Saturday edition. Um, how do you build confidence within yourself and with your clients?
So, I mean, if you were to Google it, they're gonna give you endless resources, but I like
Mhm.
to do ASAP. Like, how can we do it this second so
Right.
that we get off, jump off. So or jump start, not jump
Mhm.
off. So, so there I can Woo! Um,
Trust me,
there's
27-year broadcaster, and I've fumbled words and phrases too a lot. Trust me.
I'm just trying to remember not to curse. I loved your intro where you're like, "Don't curse, don't curse, don't curse." That's a Jersey thing too. I'm just trying to remind myself,
I'm
like,
My favorite comedian is George Carlin,
okay.
and I've had moments where I want to spit out so many Carlin phrases it's not even funny. And one morning doing the morning show,
Yeah.
I just broke out a notebook and said that my EP, my executive producer, who's also one of my best friends, caught it, recorded it, and put it in this intro. And now it's become like one of my things during the morning show. If we come across a moment where I want to curse, I will just pull one of these notebooks, sit in here in front of me, and just start doing what I used to do in Catholic grammar school. I will not cuss. I will not cuss. I will not cuss. I will. Believe me, big city boy here. I get it. And you get yourself. This deviates from what I want to do, but let's go there.
Okay.
You want to say some things so badly, and you're like, I should, and then at the last second, your brain will catch you and go, nope, can't do it. And you being from Jersey, me from Chicago, how many times in life, even though you're in California, I'm in India, how many times in life where you're just ready to launch into a cuss word fit and you get caught at the last second going, can't do that here. Can't do that here.
So this is inappropriate. You're acting inappropriate. Yes. Yes. Totally. And it's so funny. And maybe this is another thing that this is like on an unconscious level. I also grew up in a private Catholic school. And what I tell people is once I learned about curse words, like let's say 3rd, 4th grade, and I learned people's reactions to them, I was like, I like this. I like this. And now I'm an adult and I'm like sometimes a potty mouth and I'm like, all right, but I fell in love and probably because I wasn't supposed to. Like,
yes.
Not only was I not supposed to, God was watching and I was still actively doing it. So
I went to a Catholic grammar school where they were supposed to keep me on the straight and narrow.
supposed to.
But I grew up in Chicago and my dad was from Chicago and he had a potty mouth. And sometimes I would hear him go completely off. And sometimes I think, I don't want to say that. Yet the next day I'm in school and something happens and you're ready to launch and you think about, what would your dad? I think about what would your dad say? Your dad wouldn't like it if you said those words. But then one day I got caught. I was in high school when this happened.
Okay.
One day I'm in school. I'm trying to open my locker. Simplest thing. I got the combination. Like, okay, I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna get my books. I'm going to my next class. And the locker wouldn't open. And my brain is going, I'm not gonna be able to hold it. And I know you've been through this. Like, I'm not gonna be able to hold it. I can't hold it. And finally, as a teacher was walking by,
naturally,
I went off. I went completely off
on a locker.
And I finally opened my locker. And you ever get the feeling there's someone looking at you after you completely launch off? After you go on a complete cuss fit for like 2.5 minutes?
Ooh.
Yeah. I closed my locker and there are 2 teachers right there in shock.
Paralyzed with shock from the words out of your mouth.
Look, the nerd, the person that my classmates knew as the nerd, the quiet nerd, didn't cuss until that day. And it wasn't my classmates who heard me, it was the teachers who heard me.
Of course.
It just seems to happen that way. And you're like, nah, this can't be. Yep.
You said the devil took over. I don't know who that was, but that was not me.
And they're just going, and they just calmly ask you the wrong question where you're threatened to go off again. They calmly ask you all that for not opening a locker. And you just shake your head. Thank you. You just shake your head. Part of you is going, really? The other part of you is going, you better get away from me or I'll cuss again.
Seriously. Right now, I feel like I got nothing to live for. Why are you messing with me?
I have nothing to live for and I got nothing to lose.
Totally.
Right?
Because I'm young.
15 15 years old, I launch into a cuss fit. I get caught. They ask me a question just as calm as can be. And if I'd have known then what I know now, I would have just walked away. I eventually did, but I just stared at him. It's like, don't do this. Don't do this.
Right.
And I
Totally.
walked away quietly. And later that day, I think, okay, this is not going to happen again. This is not going to happen again. It happened again.
Same day?
Believe it. Same day. Last period of the day.
You can't help yourself.
Last period of the day. You've had a bad day. The teachers are getting on you for you don't know what. Right? The teachers are on you all day.
Power plays. Right. Okay.
It's a power play. Exactly right. It's a power play.
Congratulations for bullying teens. Great.
Listen, 1988 should have been the year teen bullying should have been outlawed. I was a sophomore in high school at the time. And that same day, I'll never forget it. I grabbed a Coke. I went to my locker. I tried to open the thing. It didn't happen. And I went off again.
And then you ripped the locker off the hinges.
I was close. And as soon as I open it and it bashed me in the head, I get my books. I'm ready to storm out. I close it, and there's the principal waiting for me.
And you said, "Can I change lockers?"
He politely walked me to the principal's office, and he didn't reprimand me. He made me calm down. And he says, "I never thought I would hear those words come out of you. Dr. Dillon, if you could believe it, my mind has said worse."
Sit down when I tell you I've done worse. Yeah. Sitting on my confession, principal. All right.
It's like, we're in Chicago, okay?
You don't think teens curse? Give me a break.
I'm like, why are you yelling at me? This is nothing compared to what I've heard other kids say.
Totally. Right. This is your hill to die on? Are you kidding me?
Right. How did you when you're overwhelmed like that to the point where you're swearing worse than your favorite comedian? How do you navigate that? It's so, even now at my age, at 50, almost 51, it's so tough some days to navigate that. How do you navigate that?
Is this a real question or just in general? Okay.
This is.
Okay. Number one, the idea of laugh it off.
Yeah.
It's truly my go-to, or even the idea of when I do mess up, just being genuinely sorry, because cursing offends some people. If people curse at me, I'm like, yes, you totally get it. Oh my gosh. And other people are appalled, right?
Right.
So I don't want to offend, but the other part of me is like, but did you want authentic Annie? Yes or no? So I don't want to lose my mind at you. I don't want to call you the B word. I'm not going to be, if I came off aggressive, I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess it really comes down to also building a mindfulness practice. Are you being mindful of your words? Sometimes mine slip, and sometimes I purposely say it. I purposely said it because I'm trying to emphasize something.
Mm-hmm. And is that tough to balance on occasion?
It depends on where I am. It really depends. It's so funny we're talking about curse words actually, because and I'm not trying to do a plug, but I do want to say I just published a book for high school girls, and it's called SHIT, I Wish I Knew in High School. I had a feeling you'd like
the
that.
Title. I may get that just to read it myself. I may get that just to read it myself. I love that title.
Cool.
It should apply to everyone. When you enter adulthood, that should be required reading. I love that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And it has quite a few curse words in it. Quite and I will say I originally wrote it for my sisters. They're 18 now, but when they
Yeah.
were freshmen in high school, I wrote it for them.
Mhm.
And I like word vomited and I they're in Jersey and I'm in California. So I wrote this book like I was with them every day of high school. And I'm like, da 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 da, and guys, da 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 da, and other girls, da 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 da, and this teacher did this, and da 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 da. Like I am everything's exposed. And that's not even the half of it. But um yeah, so I'm like unapologetically publishing it. I'm like, there's curse words. Some parents may not like this.
Right.
Also, newsflash, just like kids are sexually active, they're also cursing. I know we don't want to talk about this, but
Yes.
it's the truth.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do here, people?
It's like sometimes my parents would hear me, like when I'm on a phone call with a friend of mine and
Yeah.
some words slip. My dad, look, by the time I was 21, my dad didn't care. See, because half of the words I got from him. All right. And the others I got from listening to comedy albums. It's when my mother heard me. I
Tis,
don't
tis,
need to explain the
tis.
rest of that equation.
Did she say, "Who raised you?" That's my mom loves saying that.
That's
"Who
one of
raised
that was one
you?"
of my mother's go-to. That was one of my mother's go-to phrases. That was one of my mother's go-to phrases. Who raised you?
Like,
Mom, I'm on a phone
mom,
call with a friend of mine. I'm having fun.
and if this is the worst I do, then shouldn't we be celebrating this?
Thank
Like,
you.
yeah,
Thank you.
right,
Eh,
right.
eh, why is building a mindfulness practice? You mentioned mindfulness earlier.
Mhm.
Why is building a mindfulness practice so important?
The phrase I like to use is, "You don't know what you don't know." So, how can you fix someone or have any behavior modification around something that you don't even know is a problem?
Right.
Um, or yeah, just learning things like being aware. Something that I learned in one of my programs was from the time someone's born until they're 7 years old, all they do is use their unconscious mind, which means all they're doing is downloading everyone around them. But a lot of parents think they won't remember. They're so young.
Oh
They're not going
yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Oh
Well, those little
yeah.
sponges, yeah.
Being a parent myself. Oh yeah. Oh, they won't remember. Oh yeah.
Daddy, remember when you said da 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 da? And you're like, that was 3.5 months ago. I don't remember what I ate for breakfast. You just asked me what did we eat for lunch yesterday, but you remember
Yes.
something from 3.5 months ago, child. Right, right. Or you curse one time in front of them and they pick up that one curse word.
One.
It's all it
One.
takes. It's all it takes. Right. You did remind me of, have you seen A Christmas Story?
Yes, I have.
You remind me of how the dad would curse in the basement. And then when he cursed in front of his dad was like, and he's like, but I learned from my dad. He said this all the time when he was in the basement.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I learned some stuff from my dad that even when I spit him out in anger today, I'm going, Pops, why are you invading my mind right now? Because I
Right.
lost dad in 2007 to prostate cancer. And yet every day I get a reminder of how much fun it was to have him around and how much education, it was to have him around with so many things that I've learned from him,
Mm,
and one of the things that I'm still learning to this day is balancing work and life. Me being a parent, being a husband,
right.
being a grandfather, it's tough to balance all that. And being an entrepreneur basically is balancing that. For people who don't know the story, I got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in July of 21, had surgery April of 22, got rid of it, just got the call February 15th. I'm in remission. And it all started with blood clots in both my lungs. And now I'm being an entrepreneur since the state of Indiana wouldn't let me claim disability. And with the excuses they gave me. Yeah, you should have heard the cuss words that I got when my wife gave me those pieces of news. How do you navigate through it? How do you? I want your perspective. I want your thoughts on how do you balance work and life, and how tough is it on some days?
Okay, I guess the number one thing is the word balance. The word balance. We all every work life balance, like,
Hmm.
and I use the phrase because it's what people know. But
Right.
but front of mind, there's no such thing as balance. Like, there's no such thing as 50-50 at least. So striving for that is a losing game, right?
Isn't it?
So number one, you're screwed. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. No, uh, just letting yourself off the hook. Number one, the idea of like you don't know what you don't know. Everyone's reading articles and they're like work life balance, or
Yes.
oh my gosh, these people are taking pictures at work and then they're taking pictures at home, and
Mhm.
oh, the kids are matching and have matching hairs. Like, how do they find the time? Well, there's really no such thing, and I'm telling you, you're losing out on something. Like,
Yeah.
it's a give or take. So, actually kind of back to time management of
Mhm.
what's a priority? Because I think when people think work-life balance, they think 50-50, but it doesn't have to be that like that, and honestly, it shouldn't be like that. Unless it's your passion, like, do you know what I mean? But
Yes.
working for someone else, making them money, running yourself ragged for a corporation or pretty much anyone else but yourself,
Right.
you're
We're here again. We're here again. Because
Yes.
I can't tell you how many times my wife has come in from work and she just like falls down in agony. And she's told me like I'm so tired of what I do. I like parts of it, but I don't like the other parts of it. And I tell her all the time, baby, when this pops off for me, you can just hang with me. And that that is my goal, to make
Nice.
that happen. It's time for a little promotion. Annie, where can they find you, my dear?
They can just go to my website. It's anniedelre.com, ANNIEDELRE.com.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And uh if you find her YouTube page and find all her information there, please, please, I beg of y'all, please give this woman a follow and follow her work. It's absolutely wonderful. Annie Delre joining me here on this special Saturday edition of the Brian Snow Show. Thank you very much, my dear. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
We're closing up shop. I'll be back with y'all on Monday. See you then.
Thank you for tuning into The Brian Snow Show, where sports is the base, life and fun are the results.